I'm David Chew, I'm a dispute resolution solicitor at Cartmell Solicitors. Whilst it's natural to be concerned by the COVID-19 outbreak, there are lots of practical steps you can take to protect your business interests. The first thing I would suggest is that businesses review their contractual positions, any agreements they've got with suppliers or customers. The default position will be that you're bound by the terms of those original agreements. Those might be written agreements, or there might be more informal agreements you've made directly with other people. One of the particular points I'd check on any contract is whether there's a force majeure term. This would allow you either to terminate or perhaps stall your obligations under the contract. There's many different forms of this clause of contract, so it's important to look at it in detail, establish what those terms are and whether there's any reporting obligations or whether you might need to give notice under that term of the contract. Whilst it's important to check the terms of any contract, and you might be able to enforce certain obligations against other parties you're dealing with, it's also important to take a practical view on things. You'll have long-term relationships with long-term customers, and in all likelihood you want to maintain these relationships moving forward. So it's important that there's a bit of give and take, and where you can restructure deals and when you can come to an agreement with either customers or suppliers, it's worth trying to get through these difficult times together and reaching a compromise. It's also very important for businesses to check their insurance documents carefully. Do you have any business interruption insurance? Again, what are the terms of this insurance? Do you need to notify your insurers? And does invoking any force majeure term within a contract, does that affect your business interruption insurance? It's certainly worth every business carrying out a general risk assessment. Identify the particular parts of your business that are at risk, identify which factors are in your control and focus on those. Perhaps you can put more energy into other parts of your business that won't be affected by the current situation, or divert resources to a particular project. So in terms of practical steps you can take, it's important that you get in touch with and liaise with employees, other businesses and suppliers as soon as possible and talk about whether there's any practical implications of the current situation on your contract with each other, whether that be transportation, whether that be locations of meetings, and basically just try and address any potential problem areas from the start, so that as the situation develops and if things worsen, that you're already on top of things and you've already had the conversation. It's more than likely that you or your employees will be asked to self-isolate. It's important that you think at this stage about how you're going to work remotely. What parts of the business can be carried out remotely? Is it worth checking all those systems now? Can you carry out meetings online? It's also worth speaking to your customers and suppliers and trying to work together to solve problems that could be foreseeable down the line. I think one of the key pieces of advice is to keep channels of communication open and to make sure that you communicate properly with employees, with customers and with suppliers. This could be by way of a simple phone call, or it could be by way of social media, and just really keeping people updated. You might be able to allay concerns that your customers won't be receiving supplies, and it's just little bits of information and open lines of communication that will help everybody get through the next few months a lot more easily. Whilst a lot of the time we'd hope that you'd be able to resolve any issues with suppliers or customers directly, sometimes if there's high value contracts or perhaps there's been miscommunication between the parties, you would benefit from proper legal advice. The terms of contracts can be complicated, and it's always best to get some reassurance and some further advice where there's any doubt. We've got a team of 6 dispute resolution solicitors here, and we will be more than happy to offer any advice, help, reassurance in relation to the current COVID-19 outbreak.